That's going to be,
I turn it on, it can't be heard anyway.
oh, we do. We actually have that many bids?
Some are electrical, some are concrete, some are buildings, they're all separate.
Just after I turn mine on, it would.
Yeah, that's usually it's a problem. Usually it's between me and Charlie.
We have our gentleman here from DOT. I don't see him.
Okay, you are live.
Somebody? He sent me a text, and I forgot to get hold of Tim.
You know, hey, Rick.
Oh, that'd be good. Good.
Rick, do you know who's coming from DOT?
No, I don't. I think Matt, I could probably be here, but there might be a gentleman from Peter too.
Okay.
What's going on Sioux Conifer Road?
What's that?
Sioux Conifer Road trash pick.
Okay.
Check, test.
He'll be all right. Yeah.
Is the roof falling?
It's Wakefield Community Center too. It's the old church, but yes, it's the community center.
You can hear okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that will work.
It is 9.
Yeah, it is.
All right, it's 9 o'clock. We'll begin the April
Pass that back.
25th. Oops, no, it's May 2nd already. How about that? The May 2nd meeting of the Cudahy County Commission. A couple of housekeeping things as usual. If you have a cell phone, please shut it off or turn it down. If you need to take a call and it's something that you need to take care of, please step out in the hall. Also, we are being streamed live, so you will be on camera. That being said, I'll entertain a motion to
approve the agenda.
we have a motion to approve the agenda by Commissioner Hatton. Second. And a second by Commissioner Gable. Any comments? Anything? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Minutes of the April 25th meeting.
Move to approve is mailed.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hatton, seconded by Waterman. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All in favor, you said aye. Motion carries. Number 3, open the bids for the proposed building. Rick, yeah. Yeah, no, Milo's not here. Milo's gone. So Jim will have the honors. And I think there's some bids that are just for electrical, some for concrete, some for the building, so
That is correct. They're broke down into 3 areas, like you said, for concrete, for the electrical wiring of the building, and also for the building itself. The first ones that I have here is a sealed bids for the concrete work. This bid is from JR Construction, and the bid amount for this project is $32,276, and there is a check with this for the
bond?
Bid bond,
Did you say
correct.
that was electrical?
No, this is for
Concrete.
concrete. This is for the concrete.
Okay.
Can I staple them? I got a stapler.
The second bid that we have here is from Nygaard Concrete Construction, and this bid is in the amount of $28,653.11, and there's a bid bond accompanying this also.
Say that amount again, Jim, please.
$28,653.11.
Where are these companies from? JR Construction is,
Watertown,
okay, and this other one at Nygaard is also?
Nygaard is also.
Okay.
This third bid is from Creststone Builders Incorporated. And this is for the concrete flooring and apron. Their bid is in the amount of $28,600. And there is a bid bond attached here also. And that's the three bids that we have for the concrete for the building project. Now I'm going to open the bids for electrical wiring, and I believe that we have we have 5 bids here for the electrical wiring. The first bid here is from Dan Urban Electric from Watertown, and his bid is in the amount of $9,980. And there is a bid bond check accompanying that bid.
That was Dan Urban from
Dan
Water.
Urban Electric. The next bid that we have is from Kloss Electric. It's like KLOOS, and that's from Watertown. This bid is in the amount of $8,754.87, but I do not see a bid bond with this.
What was that amount
Bid.
again? 8,000?
That amount was $8,754.87.
Okay.
No bid bond.
The next bid that we have is from Inglestead Electric, and their bid is $12,080. $12,080, and there's a bid bond that accompanies this bid.
No bid.
The next bid that we have is from L. Marquardt Electric Incorporated, Watertown. Their bid is $10,988, and there is a bid bond that accompanies this bid. And again, it's $10,988. And the fifth bid that we have is from Muth Electric of Watertown. Their bid is $9,430. There is a bid bond that accompanies this bid. And again, the amount is $9,430 from Muth Electric. That was the final bid on the electrical portion of the project. Now we have 3 bids for the building structure itself. The first bid that we have here is from Jack Whiff Construction from Watertown, and it's for a Reeves Building Systems building. And this bid is for $103,649.68. Again, it's $103,649.68.
That'll be Zach Webb.
Zach Whiff Construction from Watertown, but that's for Reeves Building.
Is there a bid bond?
There was no bid bond that was included with that.
Usually, that's...
This next bid is from Morton Buildings, and I'm looking through here. The bid from Morton Buildings is $105,821. Again, it's $105,821, and there is a bid bond that accompanies this bid. The next bid is from Creststone Builders from Watertown. And this, their bid from Creststone Builders is $96,500. And there is a bid bond that accompanies this bid. And that's the last bid that we have. So with the bids, my recommendation would be to the commission that we have to have some time to review all these bids to make sure that, you know, we're bidding apples for apples and the bids meet the requirements of what we were requesting. I would ask that that you possibly table this until next week so that we have time to go over these bids and then make a decision by the commission at that time.
I'll make that motion that we
Second.
table until next Tuesday.
Okay, we have a motion by Hatton to table this until next week, and a second by Charlie, Commissioner Waterman. Any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks, Jim.
Jim. Luke, number 4 is action to approve resolution on the plat of the Solutioner Addition in Elmira Township.
Sure.
Good morning, Luke.
Good morning. Around.
Thank you.
I won't delay much. I will just tell you, as you said, this is the plat of Schleissner Addition, the northeast quarter, section 36, township 117, range 52. It is 2 miles east of, I guess, Lou's Fireworks would probably be the best way to describe it, on Highway 212, and then a mile back to the north on the west side of the road. This is a plat. The property got the farmstead exemption way back in 2007, I believe, and just all they had to do was shore it up and plat it the way that's required. Minimum 5 acres is required, and that's what we have here.
I would make a motion that we would approve this plat.
We have a motion by Commissioner Hatton, second by Commissioner Gable. Any discussion?
You say this was recommended for
Yes,
approval?
it was.
Any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Thank you, Luke.
Thanks, Luke.
Okay.
Number 5, we have discussion with South Dakota DOT officials regarding the I-29 crossover. Is a representative here from DOT?
Yes, Mattson.
Yes, Matt, come on. Rick, you want to come up too? He's busy signing his name. Morning.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Yeah, I see you got the 212 shut down.
Yes, we do. We're working on it.
I didn't call you when you started with the snowstorm.
Right, yeah, delayed us today. Excuse me.
Everybody's names.
I'm Matt Bry with the Watertown Department of Transportation. Matt Bry. B-R-E-Y.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Matt.
All right. I did hand out a few things. First was this joint powers maintenance agreement. What this is it's an agreement that was drafted by our DOT legal office in Pierre and also Brace Prouty in our project development office. There's another area, Winter area, is working with their counties in their area on the same type of agreements. In the Watertown area, we've got 6 counties, and we're pursuing these agreements with all 6, Coddington, Dual, Hamlin, Brookings, Grant, and Roberts. We did send out preliminary agreements to all the counties. Rick was the only one that responded, I guess, and had some very good comments. And we've gone back, I think, twice and tried to clean up language to deal with the county's concerns. So I brought copies of the current draft agreement. And the basic idea behind these agreements is to formalize the maintenance on interstate crossroads. And that's who maintains them and who pays for the maintenance within the DOT right-of-way. Currently, we have no agreement. What we have is, I just printed one copy for myself here, but in our maintenance manual, there's a memorandum on what the DOT feels, we should do for maintenance within our right-of-way on county and township crossroads, both over and under the interstate. So the idea behind these agreements was to formalize that process. I also handed out some plan sheets on the 11 by 17 sheets, basically showing some treatments for our whole area, but specifically Coddington County's overpasses and underpasses. The only real change to any surfacing that's proposed is about 3 miles north of the Waverly exit. There's a road over the interstate that's currently, it's a gravel road, but within our interstate right away, it's asphalt. We'd be milling that full depth and turning that back to gravel. We've done that in Brookings and Dual counties when we redid the interstate through there in the last 10 years. So, but I guess as far as other changes to maintenance, and we're working with Rick Small here, one thing, our current policy says if we've got an asphalt county road over or under the interstate, we don't participate in any maintenance currently by our policy memorandum. And what we'd like to do is change that so that the county would do, say, chip sealing, round sealing, patching, but anything done within our interstate right of way, the county would bill us and then we would pay for that. On a gravel road, the maintenance currently is mentioned as the county's, and that would remain the same. Rick, also, I know you expressed concern about signs, guardrails, curb and gutters, structures within the interstate right away, and I believe those are in the agreement as the responsibility of the state.
That would stay the state.
Right.
I guess the liability by signing this county is actually, in my opinion, assuming some liability. We're accepting responsibility for the maintenance of this, where right now it's in the state's hands. The liability issues and so forth are with the state. By signing this, I'm concerned that the county might be signing into a liability issue. And then also on the county road that you spoke of, turning back to gravel. From that point on, this agreement says that's the county's responsibility to maintain that. That's an extra half a mile or better of road that the state has been responsible for. The state would like the county to take over and furnish and maintain the gravel and so forth. It's basically adding some mileage to our maintenance responsibility, maintenance and area responsibility. As far as the asphalt treatments, we've done that years ago when we paved County Road 9, which is a detour right now. I approached the DOT concerning participation in paving under there, and at that time I was told that the state, as you said, they didn't participate with. So the state said, no, you start with the right of way, and we'll take care of that when it comes. And my thought at that time was, well, we're not going to pave the road and leave, and I even forget what it was, 2,000 feet or whatever it was under that bridge with old asphalt. So without the state's participation, we went ahead and done it, and could not get any reimbursement. And that, and like you said, that's the way it's been in the past. And so we've just done it. Same way with our seal coats. We've done it right up to the bridges and so forth, and never even asked for compensation because the policy was that you don't participate. So we've just taken it. I will entertain getting reimbursed for this, which is in this agreement. It would be nice to get reimbursed for that. But as far as accepting responsibility and liability, and also additional, well, and we've already done it on the farthest south underpass. That was turned back to gravel years ago. And at one point, the DOT approached the county and asked the county to do maintenance on that. And my comment to the DOT was, if it's up to Cottington County, we're just going to turn it to gravel because we're not going to take on the responsibility of maintaining that asphalt. It's to do asphalt repair on that or overlay or anything. It's not like we have a county asphalt road running under there. We would have to have a contractor come in and do it just as the DOT would to repair that asphalt. It'd be no different other than it would be the county doing the work, letting the contract, overseeing the job and so forth. And there's more additional time spent by the county.
And I guess, Rick, you bring up a good point, and that's why we're looking to turn that piece of asphalt back to gravel for the same reasons you just mentioned. You know, you try to maintain a half mile or quarter mile each side of a bridge when you've got a gravel road. It just really makes no sense. It's just, you know, this would make the road surface continuous. And I guess we do plan to go ahead and do that, you know, regardless, just because we can't to go and pothole patches. And you're right, it would add some more to the county system, that half mile. As far as surface maintenance, of course, it'd just be primarily blading gravel. You still do snow removal now,
Right.
on it as well. But to me, and I think you mentioned it too, the big issue with this agreement was these asphalt county roads. Now there's a mechanism to reimburse you for chip seals, for rowel seals, for patching, for anything done within our right-of-way, interstate right-of-way. So I guess we look at that as a benefit to the county, but I do understand, your concerns, as far as liability too, and I'll be honest, I'm not a legal scholar by any means, so I don't know how liability is addressed, at all in this agreement. I did read through it, but I'm not, I guess, are you liability-wise just for doing surface maintenance, or what are you,
Any issues, defect in the road surface, for instance, if a big truck hole turns up, a car comes along and hits it and tears a wheel off, the county would be the first one mentioning any claim against, for damages due to the road surface, with our signing this, we're accepting responsibility for the maintenance of that road, maintenance and repair.
okay.
Mr. Chairman, so if we had
Yeah.
the state's attorney and our insurance folks did you look at this yet? Maybe
No.
Maybe we're supposed to do that.
No, this is the first time, like I said, Matt and I have been, he's sent me a couple different revised versions of this. This is the first time. I did bring it to the commission one time before, and before the commission acted on it or whatever, Matt came back with another version of it, and this is the third one I've seen. So this is the first time that I've had Matt come in and formally bring it to the commission.
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Waterman had a question.
Yeah, I see you're dealing with Brookings and Coddington and several of the counties listed here, and we're the only ones that have responded, is that correct?
That's true. I've talked with Pat Stickland in Roberts County, but he, they haven't acted on it, and I think they know that,
I think
Coddington's
And
waiting for.
And the second part of my question is, even if this agreement is not signed, the state plans on turning these into gravel anyway, is that correct?
That is correct.
And eventually, over time, that is the master plan, to turn these to gravel?
You just have one in Coddington County, yeah.
Just have one in Coddington County?
Well, it's actually County Road 8, the road east of Rawville. There's another one with,
That's not called, though, to be, which mile marker is that? I thought I just saw the one at 3 miles north of Waverly.
they're not talking about changing, reverting the one by Rawville to gravel. That's got asphalt.
Right, then it's asphalt.
And we would have to maintain and repair the asphalt on that one at this point. It doesn't mention, this agreement has nothing to say about turning that one to gravel.
No, the only one we're turning to gravel, I looked on Google Maps too, was the one 3 miles north of Waverly. It's a gravel road that just has the asphalt within the interstate right-of-way, up
And
to the
that's-
bridge on
That's the
both
same way
sides.
the one east of Rawville is, exact same.
What mile marker is that roughly? How many miles north of,
It'd be one.
is it
7.
like 184? Is it 2 miles south of Waverly, or is
It's in
it?
the agreement.
2 miles south.
Okay, that doesn't show. What does it show to do at 183 point?
There it is, 106th Street.
That one's not even listed for
1
doing
cent.
any work here.
No, excuse me.
That shows we're not doing anything. I'm just looking through the scope of work. There's nothing.
Yeah, they're not doing anything there, but,
No.
but by signing this, responsibility for the maintenance of that would become 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. County Road 8.
And that goes over the interstate.
Right. Yep, I see that. Yep, that's over there. Says for other gravel surfaces.
183.94, mile marker 183.94, that's County Road 8.
Mhm.
And that is the same deal as the north one.
I wonder why that's, I'm just saying it's not listed here on converting the
And I don't know why, the asphalt is in the same condition as the one farther north, it's shock.
But the gravel road is, you're saying it's a gravel road? Ivan, okay.
Gravel road.
I'll check on that too. Like, I mean, from the agreement here, it's not listed.
And then both of those, well, all of them, the bridge overpasses, the concrete apron to these bridges has been repaired with epoxy concrete repair. I mean, it's getting to the point that it's time to replace it. There again, Cottington County does not do, we would have to let a contract to do that repair. We don't do that repair. It would be no different than the state would have to do a contract to do that concrete work. And this agreement would just take responsibility to let that contract and everything transfer to the county and granted, we would get reimbursed, but we would be the ones that would be responsible for doing those aprons.
And I know in our current, I know this is just our current internal DOT policy, all structure work is the responsibility of state, so.
We kind of like the sound of that.
Yeah, well, and we've got specialty crews, and just like Rick said, you'd have to contract it out, it just makes sense if we can do some of that ourselves, but trying to find, it says here, state will be responsible for other maintenance, including signs, guardrail, curb, gutter, and other structures. Is that, I'm assuming that means?
That apron, that is not, in my opinion, is not part of the structure. It is the concrete apron leading up to
the structure. Well, that might be, I think you mentioned something we need to, the approach is to make sure those are included in the verbiage then as part of the structure.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, if I can, Mr. Bray, thanks for being here this morning. I guess the thing that I'm struggling with right now, and as Rick kind of alluded to, is just break it down in layman's terms so everybody understands. The county is assuming additional cost and liability with signing this joint powers maintenance agreement. What benefit does the county have by doing this? I mean, what's the benefit? To me, it sounds like we're assuming more cost, more liability. Yeah, we can get reimbursed for some of the work, but why would we have an interest in signing this with the state?
I guess as far as speaking to additional costs, there would be, additional cost of gravel as far as blading and, instead of lifting up your blade and moldboard and driving a half mile over an asphalt piece, you'd be maintaining the gravel and probably occasionally adding some. You're right, but on the highways that are currently asphalt all the way, County Road from the Waverly interchange, and there's a few others as well, our current policy is that we don't do any surface maintenance, as was mentioned, I guess, by Rick Small too. So we wouldn't be doing the maintenance, but we'd be reimbursing you for the maintenance on those asphalt roads for the work done just within our interstate right away, the Rowland sealing, the chip sealing, pothole patching. So, I mean, that would be a benefit, I guess, to the county as well. It just makes more sense too, like Rick said, when he's coming through doing a chip seal, why skip that 1,200 feet? I mean,
And we haven't done that.
no.
One that always bothered me was the county approached the DOT on the road going south of Cranwood, and they said, no, stop at the right of way, right by the tip top there. We're not going to participate in any cost in there. Well, that was a disaster. The county road going up to it was fine, the concrete on the highway 212 was fine, but within the right of way, that asphalt was just horrible for years. And
Mr. Chairman, a question. How long would this be going forward? Are we talking a 5-year period, a 20-year period, or from here out till they replace the interstate?
this is from here out.
Right, till,
Then I guess I'd make a motion, we table this until the 41st day or whatever they say at the legislature.
There's actually no action
No.
included in today's.
It was just discussion today.
I think my thoughts are just, and this is mine alone, is that I think we've opened up a can of worms here. And what I would like to see is Rick list your concerns, okay? And Matt, take them back And in the meantime, let's find out who is liable and answer some of these questions that we've had here. And I don't know if you need to go to the state and get from the top down or whatever, but let's clear up the muddy water a little bit and then bring it back as soon as you can. And we're not going to put a timetable on it because we're working with the state here, so we understand. Is that feasible? Is that?
Sure is. All
I've already sent.
He has his
down
list
the
already.
Concerns that we discussed
Okay.
here at this time, other than one new thing that I mentioned on this was those concrete aprons. Maybe I mentioned that in the previous, maybe I'm not sure about the aprons, but everything else we discussed here, I've already brought forward to Matt.
Okay, and that hasn't, could you just resend me, I guess, all your, just add to those previous ones, then I can just forward that out to Breeze Trouty in our legal office, and that way I might, that way it's an inclusive list, and, no, we'll certainly, and to be honest, I mean, we're
In fact,
struggling.
I'll CC Bryce when I send it.
Okay,
So
that'd be
you'll have it,
great.
he'll get it directly from me, I'll CC him.
Okay, sounds like we have a plan.
We appreciate you being here.
Yes,
Yep,
Thank you,
thank
Matt.
you for that.
Thank you, Rick. Good. Next,
Thank you.
That's right.
number 6, the discussion and possible action on a private proposal for trash pickup on County Road 13, which is that individual here? Oh, that's Rick. Oh, oh.
I'm bringing it forward for a group, motorcycle,
The Harley people?
yes. Motorcycle group would like to clean up the road ditches along the road to Conifer Road to the casino. I have no objections to it. In fact, my suggestion on the deal is to help them a little bit by furnishing them the bags to put the trash in, and then also offer to pick bags up. They'll leave it at strategic points along that road and notify me when they've completed it. And
I guess that's a win-win.
I would make a
Does the city pay for the landfill use then?
not at this point.
I would make the motion that,
Van Dusen had it first.
no, I made, well, whatever.
Yeah,
He
she can-
seconded it. I
she can
made
make
it,
it,
he
I'll
said
second.
second.
Motion by Commissioner Hatton, second by Van Dusen. Any more discussion?
I'm a
All in
Harley
favor
rider,
indicate
I'd
by
like to
saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Rick.
And just a little comment on that, Harley, but depends on how much they pick up. The first few times they're gonna get a couple dump truck loads, and it's a county road. I'm comfortable with paying for that. In the future, when they go out and do it, they might not end up with a dump truck load. And right now, the city of Watertown does pick up the garbage at the shop. If it's what will fit in our dumpster at work, then the city does participate in that.
Okay.
By doing that. But the initial one, like I said, we're gonna have a couple of, I can guarantee you.
Well, it's just, it's a cost.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
And we're glad that they're doing it.
Yeah.
That's the
And
main
thank
thing.
them.
We're going to make it look better.
Thank that
so.
group from us, will you?
You
Thank
bet
you,
you, I
Rick.
sure
Do they
will.
have an official group name?
I'll get it from,
Okay, all right.
I've got it approved, I'll send a letter to you.
Okay.
Giving you contact also, contact person. All right, thanks.
Thanks, Rick.
Okay,
We
let's
need to
go on
vote
to
on
number
that.
7, the...
We didn't vote on that, I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Did you?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I
All
made
in
the
favor?
motion and he
Oh,
seconded, we did
All
not
in
vote.
favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Just to make certain, but
Just, yeah, that's good.
I'm pretty sure we did. Opposed, same sign, motion carries. All right.
Remember voting.
Monthly reports. We're going to do a little maneuvering here. Steve has to get on the road here. So Steve, is that all right? If we let Steve jump ahead? But we're limiting his time, all right?
Okay.
He has a,
Good morning. Well, to start out, so that equipment is getting set up and ready to go. I've gotten all but one of the requests in from all the townships for spraying this spring. Had a weed board meeting last week, Wednesday. More or less that one was to go over for 2018 budget year. And then, I guess you can put it up. I guess I can turn around and, okay. This here is a little bit, last week I know there was some discussion asking about purple loosestrife and stuff, so I thought I'll bring a little presentation today.
Didn't know what it was. Now I do.
This here is a deal that actually joint with the Hamlin County. This little presentation was done at the South Dakota State Weed and Pest Commission. But purple loosestrife here this is a collection deal of a purple loosestrife. They go out and dig those roots and those plants. And the one there is 2 years ago, and the other one was last year. The one 2 years ago was at Nibera, and that one was near Yankton. You can proceed with. Those are the little beetles that feed off of the purple loosestrife. That is what we collect those, and then that's what they put them. And you can move to the next slide. I believe we'll have. Actually, those are they pot them in pots and keep them wet. And what they do is there's nets, and they cover them over top of those plants, and that's where the beetles feed off of. And from there, they distribute them to different sites around the state. They come and collect. You can go to the next slide, I believe. That is in Hamlin County near Lake Poncet, where there is some that's in a slough. Currently, at this time, Department of Ag has surveyed the county, have not found any, but there is in Day County, Brookings County, Hamlin County. Currently, there are some, so it's just a matter of time when it gets here. Another thing that the school does, and that's leafy spurge. We also do that. We do a collection here in the county, usually the last part of June, 1st of July. You can move to the next slide. And these are the little guys that we go out and we take sweep nets and we sweep and collect them during that time. And the hottest and muggiest day and sunny day is the best time, but of course, weather never comes to factor all the time the day that we set it. You can go on. This is a project that the school is also in. Also, we have a grant for biocontrol for this plant. Those are the plants that are right there behind that are kind of turning yellowish. They'll get about 8-9 feet tall. We do have some in Cottington County here where we do have a release site. This one here is actually near Esteline. Proceed. This is the one that is in Cottington County. That is the plant that's flowering. There's plants that are behind that have already starting to die off already. These are what we collect. Or not collect, but we get these little larvae and stuff like that are in this canister. And I don't know if anybody can really see, but I don't have a pointer. But right there on that little branch is a little moth. Right. See it right there, right straight up above that arrow. Right, a little bit more, right there. That is the moth that comes from them pupae, and they actually defoliate the plants. Okay, next slide. We also turn around and have got a tent set up to try to, because it was hard to try to find. These are moths, so they fly around. So we wanted to watch these insects and see how they do. So we got a tent and set up. That one there is at Esteline. This one here is in Dual County. We're setting up, there's a tent in the back behind the gentleman that's got those poles. He is setting up a tent. That was taken a week ago. These plants are already a foot tall or better.
Wow.
You can proceed. There's also a test plot SDSU is doing on treatments of this. This is about a mile from that one gentleman's place where they're setting up the tent. This is along the Hidewood Creek. That is actually the creek, the Hidewood. And this stuff gets into anything that it can. In fact, that last slide, where burdock was in the trees, this is actually taken over and actually wiped out the burdock. Now this is invaded in it so bad. With this here, I went to a meeting last Thursday night in Dual County. They have got a grant to do chemical control for a lot of these farmers. And they asked and requested if Cottington County could help participate in this control. They have money to pay. I would probably have to come next week to see if the board would be okay for helping with the control in this. I don't know exactly how many hours they have figured, but they've asked Hamlin County and Dual County to see if they could participate in this project.
Who's requesting their assistance?
The Dual County Weed Board. All right, another one that we have in this county, these are two pictures. One was taken, the one on the left is taken near Waverly. This is yellow toadflax, or else what they call it, buttercup. This was an ornamental that that came over many years ago, and so that was put around houses and has basically escaped. This other plant is one that was by South Shore, just west of South Shore, that I'd taken last spring. And this was the 1st of June. Typically, you'll see this plant later in the summer. We have a lot of it around on the bike path, around the airport, also in the cemetery at Mount Hope up here, plus scattered throughout the town. This plant here is a tough one to turn around and control. 2,4-D doesn't really do it. Tordon does. And a lot of it's in lawns that does get in there, so now we have a problem of how to control it in lawns. This one here, there is an insect, in fact, that has a biocontrol. In another month, there is going to be a field day up in up by Oldway Prairie, up by Leola. I will get more details on it coming up, and so I have a travel request to go up to that Oldway Prairie. About 2 years ago, we were up there, and now we're going to go back again and do a little more observation of this insect. Okay, next.
What was the name of the product you said? 2,4-D doesn't work, something.
Tordon. Yeah, Tordon is not effective. You will kill trees if it's in the tree.
Will that kill grass too?
It will stunt it. It depends on the time of the season, so that and stuff, but and the application amount. Here's another one that we have in Cottington County. This is just east of Waverly. There is in a grove and in the ditch. This is wild parsnip. I don't know if anybody's heard any news on this one. This one here is you don't want to be touching it. I think the next slide will show you. Actually, the resin from this is actually poisonous. It's poison on the skin. It will infect. Actually, you will turn around and this rash is very, very bad. You will have this rash for nearly a month.
Where is this from?
East of Waverly, just on the Cottington and Grant County line. I think that
That was
I don't
on
know.
Mitchell, I think.
I think that was last.
You know, I have one question, Steve. And the biocontrol, I think, is a one great thing that they've been working on for a while, and it's got a lot of promise long term. But when the beetles eat out everything that's there, what
Well,
happens?
they do not eat everything out.
They don't.
Unless you end up turning around and chemically control it and kill it out, then the beetles will die. It's kind of like the coyote and the rabbit. You know, they don't eat out, they won't eat everything out, you know, because that's their food source. But they will thin it down greatly, enough to keep it in a cycle.
Kind of keep it
Really
in check a
thin.
little bit.
Keep it in check.
Thank you.
Leafy spurge is probably the biggest success story in biocontrol. There are other biocontrols like for Canadian thistles and stuff like that, but it's not as successful as what leafy spurge is.
Interesting stuff.
One last question of clarity. The one slide up there, you had there was a black beetle and there was one of a different color for us people of colorblind.
Okay. The black beetle actually works better on heavier soil. The brown beetle seems to be more adapted in the lighter, sandier areas and lower areas. For an instance, just east of City Park, there's a lot of spurge out there, and there's actually beetles out there. And they have found the black beetles are on the south part of the area, and the brown beetles are in the north part of the area. That is how much different the soil type.
So you have to bring both of these beetles in to the appropriate.
Yeah, and you, more or less you collect, and you might turn around and you might have success, but after you got to just know your soil types. You know, some people are saying, well, we don't have control. Well, what soil type? Well, mine's sandier. So then we have to find areas where there could be some brown ones. Usually they're kind of mixed, but some areas are more definite than others.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Also, last week, Wednesday, attended the mosquito workshop and calibrated the machine in Aberdeen. The main topic was talking a little bit about the Zika virus. They do figure that it's just going to outspread and outbreak a little more down in the southern part of the states. The biggest thing is the life cycle. Zika virus transmits from you to somebody else. West Nile, you are the dead host. Basically, it can't retransmit it. But with Zika, it can be transmitted. Most of the time, it's probably sexually or by birth of a child. That's probably the major effects. This one here, the Zika, really was more or less a mild one. West Nile was the tough one, but it's mutated itself, and that's why we're having these birth deals, because it's went through mutation and so that. And a lot of times, a lot of mosquito viruses mutate and create something greater. Any questions?
Any questions for Steve? Thank you for the educational opportunity this morning.
Yes, I did watch last week, so.
That's good.
So how widespread is that wild first?
Right now, it's only in one little isolated acreage, an old abandoned acreage, and then in the roadside a little bit right now, currently. It is in the roadside also.
Where did you say that was at?
East of Waverly, right on the Connington County and Grant County line.
Be very careful about the wildflowers you think you're picking. Yeah.
And stuff, so yeah. Currently, that one there is probably right now about 6 inches tall at the present time.
And what works on that?
Well, the best thing works on it is an Escort product, but of course this is in trees again, and Escort will take out trees. So 2,4-D has been fairly effective on that one at an early stage. So, but you guys got to keep at it.
Thank you, Steve.
That.
We get back to
Guys, drive safe.
Thanks.
Travel safe. By the way, they're going down to Sioux Falls to pick up Jim's new pickup that's being outfitted with whatever he's outfitting it with. I don't know. Radio, okay. Extension. Jody.
Didn't bring a PowerPoint.
No PowerPoint, huh?
No.
Yeah, you can do that from now on.
I did share with the Rotary last Thursday about 4-H, so I was at the Rotary meeting last Thursday. This last weekend was the state shoot out in Fort Pierre, and it's the second largest 4-H event in the state. There were 55 counties represented with 1,632 youth, and there were 2,652 entries from archery to BB gun to all kinds of things. So
I was out there. It was quite an operation. It's a big deal.
very volunteer-led program. So lots of volunteers. I volunteered for a while I was out there on
Is that
Saturday.
an increase in participants?
It did. It was full. It was locked
It's
out.
constant.
There was no
It's
one could get in. It was-
thousands of
it's through-
kids.
You kind of registered through a program, and it was full. It was
My daughter shot at 7:30 on Saturday morning. That was the best time we
yeah,
could get.
7:30 a.m. and they go all the way down to the last shooting at 7:30 p.m. that Saturday night. So they
Yeah.
shoot all day
Okay.
long. So.
How'd she do? How'd your daughter?
Pretty
do?
good. Yeah, pretty well.
My granddaughter didn't make the cut.
We did start judging schools for the kids in Connington County, so we just started those. A bike safety I'll be working with today at Millette School. That's a program we do with the Optimist Club and the Watertown Police Department. So we will be up there. I did talk to the EMS for children, and they supplied us with 100 helmets, so almost every kid should walk away with a helmet. So they did send me some T-shirts, too, so some kids show up with a helmet, they might get a T-shirt, too. Don't thump your melon. So Our 4-H camp registration is just complete. We have 29 youth that will be attending Camp Ponset at Lake Ponset there in June. And our kid care brochures are going out to the schools today. I have a few of them here. So this will be on June 13th, 14th, and 15th. And we host 50 kids a day, and it's all about babysitting and safety and sometimes it's just taking care of their own siblings or themselves too, being home alone. So I have lots of volunteers that come up and teach that from the community, fire department, and Prairie Lakes Hospital and ourselves, SDSU Extension people that come teach that. We'll have a promotion expansion committee is tonight. And then I just wanted to say that our Achievement Days schedule is July 31st to August 3rd is our Achievement Days. And our theme chosen by our leaders is There's No Place Like 4-H. It's kind of like the Wizard of Oz. No place like home, but it's no place like 4-H. July 31st to August 3rd.
The promotion is tonight?
Yeah.
At 5:30?
Yep.
Yeah.
Any questions?
Any questions for Jody?
Thanks, Jody.
You bet. I thought you guys-
Busy time of the year.
It is.
Thank you
Lots
very
of things
much.
to plan.
All right. Veterans Service, Al.
Good morning.
Morning, Al.
Good morning, Al.
For the month of April, we had 102 appointments and walk-ins. We had 4 home visits. We had 3 trips to Sioux Falls with 6 riders. The service organizations are getting ready for Memorial Day at the end of the month. 9:15 at St. Mary's Cemetery and then at 10 o'clock in Mount Hope. We are seeing an increase in claims from the Camp Lejeune contaminated water situation. Unfortunately, that's going to be very big because that affects families also. So we're seeing, starting to see more people walk in with those issues.
When did this contamination?
1953 to 1985. Yeah. And it all came from the dry cleaning. They were dumping their chemicals wherever and it was going into the water, groundwater. So that's a mess.
So anybody that was on base during those years?
You've got to be there 30 days, yep. And it's a Marine Corps base, but there's a lot of other Army trained there, Air Force trained there, some Navy trained there, so it's the whole gamut.
What are the problems that they're seeing?
Parkinson's disease, multiple melanoma, and about 5 other cancers I can't pronounce. And I've got a Parkinson's, and then he called me yesterday, he got his first rating, and then he called me yesterday, and now he's got multiple melanoma. So one guy got hit twice. So,
That's quite a time span. Involved a lot of people.
it is,
Wow.
it's a lot of people.
All right. Any questions for Al? Thank you, Al.
Thanks, Al.
Thanks, Al.
All right, Sheriff. Brad. Good morning, Brad.
Good morning, Brad.
Good.
Good.
Do you want me to try to project this stuff? Yeah.
Pull that up.
I'll
Get
give
it on
it
the
a
big screen.
Did an attempt
And
anyway,
also
we'll try it
copy
again.
everybody. For Cindy as well.
Thanks.
So the one, you should have the one with March on it?
She might have emailed it right this morning.
Yeah, that is, yeah, that's it, okay. Make it bigger.
You blow her up a little bit so
Yeah.
people can see. We'll start out with the balance sheet here on the first page. Let's see, bank balance end of February was $15,594.50. And then I'm talking about March here, so copy fees were $4 collected. Sheriff's fees $11,551. Miscellaneous accounts collected $2,500, and warrant fees $950 for 15,005 ending balance. $15,005. Sure.
I was just looking at our revenue budget this year, or this morning, through April. And I see a huge, I estimate
Is that the-
There's,
People
Might
are
be the
asking,
enhanced.
well, is that our, and that apparently is our money, it's in our revenue account,
Yeah.
so.
Um,
I mean, it's huge, I mean, it's not a huge number, but it's
A big-
almost double over
yeah.
what I estimated. And I just wondered what the,
With the new permits that they've been putting out, the gold card is new this year, and then enhanced from last year. They're a little more expensive, and we
Okay.
are receiving a little bit more back from them. From what we used to.
So you can still do the regular $10 one. It's $10. It was.
Yep, there's a $10 regular pistol permit. There's a $70
Watch the cable.
gold card permit. We collect $35 out of that. That's what the county keeps. And then there's the $100 enhanced.
okay, I just was curious as to if there was just a huge swing or if it was something new.
And there-
An increased cost permit type.
And there has been a lot more people coming in to get permits.
Okay. How long do those permits last?
5 years.
Okay.
The enhanced one, that's where you get your personal number from, don't you, if you go to ATF?
Yes, you're saying for skip the background checks?
No,
For buying the firearms? or for-
No, you still gotta call it in, is my understanding, but you give them that number and it shortens the process.
It shortens the process. It's up to the gun dealer whether or not they want to honor that permit or not. So it does allow you to bypass the NICS checks with the gold card and the enhanced card. But like I say, it's up to the gun dealer whether or not they want to honor that.
Okay.
So, all right. We'll jump on to the next sheet here, our monthly report. We got, for March, we had 458 cases and calls that the deputies responded to, 8 accidents, 91 warrants were served, 334 civil papers served, and 3,028 transport miles. Quite a few transports again. Jumping down to the jail numbers there, I'll scroll down a little bit there.
Yeah. Working on it.
Our average daily population for March was 83.42.
Yikes.
The high ADP was 89, and that was on March 10th. Our low ADP was 78, and that was on March 2nd. We have 39 people on the scram bracelet. We had 44 people doing twice daily PVTs. And we had 29 average 2 times weekly urinalysis coming into the jail. 1 person on a sweat patch, so for a total of 113 people on the 24/7 program in March. And we did 261 bookings in March. You see that's up a little bit from February. If you want to jump on down to the bottom there, we collected $9,484 in out-of-county contracts. And that's a little bit higher than February. Like I say, the numbers kind of do fluctuate from month to month on out-of-county inmates that we are holding. I think we've been averaging around 3 to 4 the last several months here for out-of-county inmates.
So percentage-wise, that's a little bit below the.
Percentage-wise, it's a lot lower than what we've been seeing in past history.
So it's like it's mostly coming from
Yeah.
the county.
Yeah.
Is that $75 a day rent fee?
Yes, yep. Yep. Work release, collected $5,520. 24/7 fees, collected $4,928. And scram fees, $9,397.
Good.
Question, Brad.
Sure.
Civil fees, I see they took a big jump, or civil papers, I'm sorry, from 232 to 334.
I, to be honest with you, the economy kind of controls that. I'm not really sure. It kind of goes with the flow of the economy sometimes. Oftentimes, this time of the year, after Christmas, we'll see some more papers. Seems like sometimes the attorneys will kind of put them off again until after Thanksgiving, Christmas. Then we start getting more papers to be served this time of the year. So, like I say, that's kind of a roller coaster too. Sometimes they're higher, sometimes they're lower.
Looks like April was a big month. We had, we're up $11,000 in revenue over where we were a year ago.
Okay.
What caused it? But I see 8,800 in January, 400 in February, 9,300 in March, and 12,000 in April.
Some of that fee spike right there might be July of last year, the legislature changed the fee structure for civil papers, so we're collecting a little bit more than what we used to.
Oh, that took place in July?
Yep.
Okay. All right, then that.
What was the amount of it? What was the
A year ago, we were at 27,313. Right now, we're at 38,923. So that's good for the county.
Yeah, it's good for the county.
Yes. Maybe not the people you're serving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
I just want to mention one thing. I was contacted by Jenny Hamrick. She's the court administrator, one that oversees our local clerk of courts here, and she's requesting to see if we could apply for a grant. And there is a grant open right now through the state to update court security and for cameras and whatnot. She was asking to see if we would could apply for that to put cameras in the clerk of court's office, inside the office there in the lobby area, and then also have a screen where the Connie could have back in her office and still see kind of what's happening in the lobby area. That would be also controlled by our camera system that we have in the jail. So it would include a DVR, a couple monitors, and a monitor where we can see it in the detention facility. We're looking at about $5,250, well, $5,120 for, I got a quote on that. I did write up a letter to apply for a grant, so I guess I'm just kind of checking. You guys want me to go ahead and, the grant?
Is this a partnership?
It's
Is
a
there a
partnership.
fee?
We would have to pay 50%. We'd have to pay half of that if we get granted. If they don't have a lot of applicants that apply for this grant, we could potentially get more of that fee covered. So,
Department of Legislative Audits would like this board to approve any grant applications. So I would say you could take action on that today, even though it's not on the agenda.
We could take action on it.
Yeah.
All right.
All you're doing is
Just to
authorizing
authorize,
it to
yeah.
apply.
I would make a motion that we authorize.
We have a motion by
Yep.
Van Dusen, second by Hanton. Any more discussion?
Mr. Chairman, so, with the, it seems like there are no cameras or anything back there right now, and that's gonna.
there's cameras in the hallways of the courthouse.
So this would be in the inside.
This would be it, yeah. It would be inside the clerk of court's, their office area.
Any more?
And then just over,
Like it.
as we look at, and hopefully the bond would pass, from my perspective, and then we'll probably have some ability to help out with the space there, so hoping that this, I guess we're still looking at a year from now at least. to actually do something. Okay.
Any more discussion?
The clerk, Mr. Chairman, excuse me, the clerk of courts, you say this is going to be behind the secured area that they have now already?
It would be in the lobby area of where they're kind of secure. It would be in the lobby area. It's something that they would be able to monitor the counting of money. Cameras, you'd be able to see the exchange of money, and it would also be able to help with security. They'd be able to see if someone's out there.
Do you know where the clerk of court's office, her actual office is in the back? And this would allow her to see what's going on out front?
It would allow her to see what's going on out front. It would also allow, it would be recorded, and it would allow the jail staff to be able to see what's going on as well.
Troy?
And that won't make it more difficult for you to monitor your prisoners?
It will. I mean, it's another, more cameras.
Another screen to watch.
Another screen to watch, you know.
If they're- oh, go ahead.
Troy?
Mr. Chair, I think it's a good idea to have that surveillance. It's only as good as the people that are monitoring it, and if it's going to be recorded, I think that's a good thing. But I don't know that we want to get into too much specifics as we talk courthouse security at this point, so just keep that in mind.
Brenda, you had a question?
Yeah, and maybe, have there been any incidences that's kind of driving the thought process of doing something like this, or?
Nothing that I can recall, and
Okay.
nothing was brought to me. No specific incidents were brought to me. I'd say courthouse security is by law under the sheriff's.
Right.
Both of our speakers are on.
Yeah,
they're unplugged.
I mean, it's good to have this.
We're getting back to you, so it's working.
So, okay.
So it's good,
Sorry.
so it's good to have it
thought because I couldn't hear myself, it wasn't working. All right. I didn't have anything important to
This
say.
comes
anyway.
out of the sheriff's
It
budget
might
then?
be the trend, I mean, that might be something that she's the coordinator, and it's something that is probably starting to happen in all of these.
Sorry, what was that?
I have a question about what budget that would come out of as far as,
There's a UJS line item.
There is, but there's nothing, nothing budgeted.
We, it's something that we could possibly, depending on what amount they take care of here. In the jail, we do budget each year to update a DVR, and if the funds come in right, we might be able to
Wrong budget.
coordinate the two together, and this DVR would be something that we could use for jail stuff as well as clerk of courts. We put our own cameras on there as well, so it's something that we might, depending on where the comes in at, we could probably take care of it too.
So are we looking at a maximum cost of 50% on this grant?
It's what it sounded like.
There is $10,000 budgeted for other expenditures. So, what kind of cost are we looking at?
The total amount is $5,120, so half of that would be.
For the entire project?
Yes.
Well, then there is a,
2,600.
there is a
Installation
line
fees and
item.
the whole-
I mean, there is $10,000 budgeted for other expense, so that would probably be able to, in the judicial systems budget.
Good questions. You're going to take care of the application then?
Yep,
for
I've
that?
actually got a letter written, drafted up, ready
Can you
to
send
go.
me a copy of all of your paperwork so
absolutely.
far?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion. Any
And
more
second.
discussion? Good discussion. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. All right. Anything else, Brad? We do. We had, who has it? We got some certificates.
Down by Chuck.
Uh,
He has it.
Brad, you better share with us. You've been honored. Now we need to bow down too, or what is the other? Oh, what?
Just on one knee, maybe?
One day.
Last week, I was selected to attend the National Sheriff's Institute in Aurora, Colorado. It's a free grant course. They pay for a flight, hotel, lodging, meals, travel. They cover the whole thing. It was a week-long, intense course, a lot of homework, and it was a good course. It was built on leadership, built on public safety issues. We discussed a lot of different things, and it's good. Should be able to bring more to the table.
And you are a graduate?
I did graduate, yep.
Okay.
Yes.
That's a media release that can go out?
Yes, that is a media release that we can share.
Perfect.
Graduated with honors? Yes.
Yep.
Okay. But you have two of them there. Is that, one is your diploma and the other one was the,
One of them's a media release from the National Sheriff's Institute.
see, the media release is already done. You like those, right?
Yep. And that's coming straight from the National Sheriff's Institute.
We'll get you a copy, Don.
Yeah, event. Okay, well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Brad, we appreciate you representing the county on that event and the good job that you're doing for the county. Any other questions for Brad? All right, let's go back to work. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, I was going to ask for a privilege here, and the mayor was here, but he, I was going to see if I could
He's
slide
gonna
him in now,
come-
but he left.
He's going
huh?
to come back if he can.
All right,
Um,
okay. Well, then we'll go on.
Don gets a copy of that.
With number 11, action to approve 2017 county and consolidated board equalization minutes, and those are in your packets. They were mailed out to you. Did you have a chance to review those?
Move to approve those.
We have a motion by
Second.
Hatton to approve them and a second by Waterman. Any more discussion? Anything? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. By the way, yes, I'm sorry, I see you going through your packet. Let me back up. Sarah is sick. She went home. In fact, she was on her way to the doctor when I talked to her a little while ago. And so that takes care of 8, 9, and 10. So we will move those to next week, all right? item number 8, 9, and 10. I'm sorry, I didn't mention that earlier. All right, number 12, action to approve a project to upgrade the sound system in the commissioners' chambers, and Van Dusen is taking care of that. So Commissioner Van Dusen, what have you got for us? And there's some information in your packet, right?
Yes, correct, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much. The information in the packet covers specifically what we talked about at our last meeting last week, as far as upgrading the sound system for the chambers here. It is a councilman conference system, which is a similar system to what I believe the city uses as far as having a gooseneck mic system. We'll have a chairman mic and then 5 delegate mics and a handheld mic for our speakers that come up, and it's all encompassed into one system. It's all daisy chained into one system, so we're not getting the sporadic audio input and output. The media has informed us that that's been an issue with them, as well as our YouTube streaming. People can't seem to hear us on occasion. So this idea was explored, and it would be my recommendation that we award the purchase of this system to Lindner Music, not to exceed $2,600. That would be my recommendation that we go with that.
You've heard the motion. Is
I'll
there a
second it.
second?
I'll
And a
second it.
second by
Give
Commissioner
give one to Don and one to,
Gable. Have you got that?
not yet. Motion was by Van Duzen.
Yep.
Second by Gable,
by
to
Gable.
proceed with the project.
Yep. Any discussion?
Okay.
Just quick question for Mr. Van Dusen, Mr. Chairman. So would this, all this other equipment that we have here, would this basically replace this whole
Yes.
setup?
That's correct. This existing setup, I've been informed that it could be used at the extension building.
Right.
Or it can be put in a reserve status, so if we have another issue
Portable
with,
thing, yeah, maybe.
with
Okay.
the sound system, we can always use this one again if we have to, but I don't see that being a problem.
System, but it's isolated problems that have to do with the individual FM.
Right.
And
Get this many signals on an FM frequency combating with each other, and that just presents itself
this is
to issues.
hardwired
So
and-
this councilman system here is all hardwired,
Okay.
so that should take care of the issues.
Is-
We'll do the install on it, so there's no install cost or anything. It's pretty easy to set up and get going.
And there's a button that, so
And
we're not
these
talking over each
these
other.
excuse me, just a minute, Troy. These speakers will go away then, too?
Correct, yep.
And
There is
so
a
how
speaker
will-
that's included.
Go ahead.
There's a speaker that is included with this system that is hardwired into the mics. So for a room this size, that speaker will be plenty. You'll be able to hear it just fine. It's an amplified speaker, so hopefully that'll take care of those issues as well.
Okay.
So
Okay.
these will be done.
And we have a motion and a second on the floor. Is there any more discussion? Any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. 13, action to declare equipment surplus and be destroyed.
There are a number of items from the Highway Department. One is an old tower computer that is no longer supported by any maintenance system. There's also an HP DeskJet printer, an Okadata printer, and a Sharp calculator. And the Highway Department has indicated these are items not worth saving for a surplus sale, that they should be destroyed.
We have a motion.
I'll make a motion.
A motion by Commissioner
Second.
Richardson, second by Waterman.
No,
Any
by-
discussion?
Actually, it's second by.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, get her done. Motion carried. Action to authorize the chair to sign a purchase agreement to acquire property for the Justice Facility contingent on the voters' approval of our bond. And Commissioner
Yeah.
Gable,
Yeah.
share with us. I think we have some
Yeah,
handouts.
so this is, just the basics of it are, this is, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this is pretty much identical to the purchase agreements, the two purchase agreements that we already signed with property owners. And if you look at the diagram that's passed out looks like that. We're talking about property C. So talking with the architects and just thinking about the future, we thought it would probably be a wise move to go ahead and approach that property owner, and he was agreeable and reasonable. So basically, the text of the property or the purchase agreements would be the same as the other two, except for the price, and of course the address and the legal description and all those things. So the price we're talking about here is $70,000. We came up with that price in a similar way. We didn't do an appraisal, but a similar kind of way of looking at it as an income property, and then compensating accordingly. So it would be something that the owner could do to move that I guess that investment to another property in the future. And then the other key difference would be to close by March 31st, and that gives that property owner the time to move that investment. And so close by, so if that owner is able to do things, say after the voters approve it, assuming they do, and then take care of the financial arrangements that he needs to, like finding another property to put his investment into, then we could they could do it sooner than March 31st. But anyway, so with that, and all the key contingency, of course, is that the voters would have to approve this, and then everything goes well with the other properties that we need for this project. So with that, I would make that motion that we would authorize the chairman to sign such a purchase agreement. And by the way, the state's attorney is preparing that purchase agreement. So.
Okay, you hear a motion by Commissioner Gable. Is there a second to that?
I'll second that.
We have a second by Commissioner Hatton. Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Same
Abstain.
sign.
You abstained?
Yep.
Is that correct?
Yep. So we had 4 ayes and 1 abstain. Number 15, discussion on procedure for emergency closures, and that is in reference to our discussion last week about what if the electricity goes out, the lights aren't on, what do we do?
The majority of the people that I heard from the other department heads are in favor of, posting a sign on the door to close. But right now, without Jim Sutton here and Milo Ford, maybe we could just continue this discussion.
Okay.
Until they can be here also, and maybe we can come up with a
action plan?
Some written rules, yeah.
Could we, Mr. Chairman, could we just ask Jim to come with a quick draft, like not like a formal draft, but just some bullet points that say, do this, do that, don't do this. This person makes the decision.
Yeah,
and
Milo's out of Milo, myself, and Jim were appointed, and we sent out the questionnaire. Yeah, there were questions on, okay, what do you do with the people that are currently in your office? Do you let them finish their business and then escort them down the stairs to make sure they get out of the building and things like that. But with Milo out of town yet and Jim gone yet today, yeah.
All right.
I will pass that message along.
Do we need to put it on the agenda for next week then?
I'll see how soon I can get something from the two of them.
Sounds good. Number 16, action to approve claims for payment. Do we have any today?
I have nothing for 16, 17, or 18.
Wow. Let's move it right along here. Personnel changes. I know we have some of those.
We have one personnel change. Sarah Amon is a clerk in the WIC office, and she is due her anniversary step increase to step 4, $16.10 per hour.
Move to approve that.
Motion by Hatton.
Second.
Second by Van Dusen. Any discussion? My discussion will be, I did receive Sarah's annual review from her supervisor, and I did review it, and it's very good review, so she's doing a good job. Any other discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign, motion carries. Any personnel changes?
That's what we just did.
Are any travel requests? I'm sorry.
Just one travel request. It's for myself as the president of the South Dakota Association of County Officials this year. Our association pays for my travel to the 2017 NACO conference. Just want to get this board's authorization to to travel. Even, there will be no cost to the county.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Hatton and second by Van Dusen. Any discussion? My discussion would be, and I just want to make a comment, is that other than when we get our monthly magazine, monthly or quarterly from the association, Cindy always has an article in there and tells about what we're doing and so on and so forth. I appreciate that.
Wait till this month.
I appreciate that.
Sometime I get, never mind.
But my point is that we appreciate, like Brad was in here, and he took the responsibility of going out to Denver, you know, and Cindy doing these. And I've always said, these are the kind of people we like working for us, is the people that step up and do things and are trying to learn, trying to better themselves through education and attending seminars, meetings, or whatever. Very much appreciated. So Cindy, congratulations. Enjoy your trip. It'll be very educational, I'm sure of that.
It's in Columbus, which,
Columbus.
thanks to Lee Gable, I'm not going to Cleveland.
Oh.
I had it in my head that it was Cleveland. I was looking for airline.
Nebraska or
I was
Ohio?
Ohio. I was looking for
Franklin
airline
County,
tickets
Ohio.
to Cleveland when he walked by my computer and asked me where I was going.
Columbus, Nebraska.
I am going to Columbus, Ohio.
Oh, that's better.
All right.
That's good because the
We have a
conference is there.
motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. I think at this time, we're going to jump right up and ask, we're gifted with the presence of the mayor of the city of Watertown here. So Mayor Thorson, would you please join us? And the discussion is in
You can
reference to
pull it out of the way. We're high-tech here.
last night there was a working session, a working meeting with council, and the discussion was in reference to our storage building that we are, we opened the bids on them today, so we're going to build that baby someplace, but we don't know where yet.
How did they look,
How do they look?
the bids?
I think that they might be,
Did they?
We're close to where we wanted.
we're in the ballpark, but it's going to be.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that.
Well, we may have to cut that concrete down an inch or so. No, I don't know.
You know, we're kind of hearing that there's, people are looking for some work, you know, they're, right now, and the school was telling me that they really thought that anything that is coming out on bids will probably get good bids this year.
We like that. That's
Yeah.
good, because we got a big one coming.
One
All
of the-
right,
one
that
of the-
being said,
One of the issues I just wanted to say was, today we were informed that Dunnix will be 2 weeks late in opening their plant, their batch plant. So we're hoping for city streets to get patched up better and done up, but it's going to be 2 weeks out before the plant is even running. They're having some issues.
That's bad.
So, kind
Yeah.
of puts us behind.
yeah. So share with us.
Yeah, you know, it was kind of interesting because Brenda and Milo came up to the office one day. We were talking to them about the new building that you're looking at putting up over by the ice rink. And, you know, Milo had asked us at one particular time about moving to the north across Kemp Avenue, and that really wasn't the proper place for this type of building. So then he said, well, I guess we're going to go to the ice rink, and unless you as a city would allow us to go to the field house. And there was discussion, and they kind of said, you know, maybe that's not the right place to go. But after second thought and visiting with some of the council, they said, maybe it is a better place for a steel building like that, because it really would blend in better, you know, it's next to the field house, next to your buildings. So that's kind of how that whole discussion started. So then when Brenda and Milo came in, we had the talk about, well, how do we work with the county to get something so that it's amiable for the both of us, you know, that something would work out. Some of the council are concerned that we could run into the same issue if we were to lease land, you know, like we just kind of ran into, you know, where, you know, you own the building, we own the land, or vice versa, something like that. Makes it a little difficult. They were just wondering if there's a chance, we want to see this go through, let me make that perfectly clear first, but if there's a chance to possibly see something that the county has that they'd want to just swap it, even up, we were very open to that also. So that's kind of where it's at. There's some looking at a swap, some are saying, let's just do it. I think there's people just on the fence, and I thought, well, here's an opportunity to visit with you about it, just see where you guys are thinking. So that's kind of where I'm at, you know.
Originally, I know our thoughts were the lease.
Right.
So this was something now that we'll have to consider. I guess I'm not sure which property they were thinking on swapping or.
You know, that's part of the problem. You know, they talk about these things, but there's no real direction given. You were there. It was kind of like
Well,
it was
Three
tough.
different
It was
options.
tough.
is there a way, sorry, Mr. Chairman, is there a way we could maybe come up with some options about, I mean, does the city council or maybe members of the city council, are they thinking about particular, maybe like that piece or that piece, or, you know, some of the
You
stuff?
know,
or-
the only one that was ever mentioned was, of course, the ice facility, the property directly under that. That's the
Right.
only one that they ever mentioned. But I don't know the size of the property. Whatever we do, it should be something even up. You know, we'll have the fencing there for you, but you don't have to have fence. That's one nice thing about the field house. It was the old armory. So it's got the fencing. The question came up, you know, about putting the building to the east side along the fence line next to the housing. You know, they're concerned that maybe they aren't so thrilled about having that garage right behind their homes. Now,
Yeah.
this would be a much better facility than what was
Agree.
there prior. You know, because that was an old
Yeah,
garage.
that's
and
true.
There was an old garage there, and then there was a lot of equipment, big equipment there.
And they mentioned about planting trees as a buffer. I mean, some of those homeowners do have trees in their backyard
do.
already, but.
They do. So I think we could get this worked out rather fast. You know, I think that it shouldn't be a holdup for you. We'd like to be able to be very cooperative and just say that, yeah, we want to get this done.
You know, Mr. Chairman, Councilman Danforth made a good point at the meeting last night in making the statement that we would like to also get some of these agreements cleaned up.
Right.
So that we don't have all these lease agreements in place and, you know, who's in charge of what, and it's a county-city split and stuff. And I agree with that. I think we need to look at doing that and cleaning that up. So I'd like to see us go in that direction as well.
You know, and I think the last one we were talking about was, you know, a lease agreement that was set up in, what, 1985 or something
Yeah,
like that for
yeah. Apparently even
50
before that,
years.
yeah, some of it, there was
That
some
was done
version.
before that and then amended
Yeah, right,
and
yeah.
so on and so forth. So, but we want to be good neighbors. We want to help you guys out on this. I think it would be ideal for you, for what your needs are with SDSU and with the county, you know, the county needs and with, you know, Jim's needs for
Diversity, yeah.
emergency management. I think it's a good thing.
So do we get a map to see what property over there is county versus city and begin
I
negotiations?
think we have that map already.
Well, this is just of the,
Yeah.
of the ball field, but up, back over here behind the armory, I
That-
don't have
The
up
city
to there
owns
yet,
all
so.
that. How big is that fenced-in area that we're talking about?
Yeah, what you'd be looking at for city property, if I'm not mistaken, it's 40 by 104, and then you also need a 40-foot, you know, concrete ramp out
Apron.
there, you know,
Yeah.
just
An
an
apron,
apron.
yeah.
So you're looking at 80 by 104. What is that? It's like 8,000 square feet or something is what you'd be looking at.
But how big is that lot?
Well, we would not do the entire lot, no. It's
Uh-huh.
just, we
Yeah.
would carve out a chunk of that because
Yeah.
we need that lot for the field house, you know, for storage of our
Sure.
own stuff. Yeah. So we would literally just carve that chunk out of there and say, county, this is yours.
Mr. Mayor, as far as access to that back there, would there be an existing easement that would be in place that would allow us
Yeah, there's
24-hour
there's a
access?
couple of thoughts on that. One is that if you went to the west side, we as a city would have to remove that one building that holds the trolley. They weren't really hepped up on that. They weren't. But what we were talking about is on the east side, if you were over there, that fence that goes across now on the north side, on the northeast corner, a door could be put in there, a gate, that you guys would have access to that 24/7. Yeah, it would still allow people that are going to the farm show or anything like that to have access to that. The vendors need places to park, so there's a lot of parking that would go on there. Now, this does not have to be a trade of property that's directly in this vicinity. You know, you have pieces that are kind of all over, and I'm just throwing it out to you guys. I don't know where they are or anything, but if you wanted to step back and take a peek at certain areas, you're more than welcome to do that. And whatever your decision is, we would just bring that in front of the council and make a decision on their side. But I think it can be done rather fast.
So is that,
So we need to
we'd have to
figure
get
out what we
that
wanna swap.
assessed for property value? Or how does,
You can get a general idea
Footage by
from
footage,
the,
yeah.
You can go to
typically
the
you don't.
director of equalization.
They
Get a
might be able
general
to
idea.
print you a map, too.
Yeah,
Yeah, you get an idea.
Get it
And
from
what
there.
Mike, I think, mentioned too, he says, when you look at that, there's no out-of-pocket cost to anybody, it's just bam, bam, it's
Straight
a
swap.
swap,
Land
and it's
swap.
all cleared up. Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, what did that piece of property cost the city?
That piece of property, if I'm not mistaken, was $1.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Which-
I think because that was given to the city basically by the National Guard. It was a fantastic gift that the National Guard gave the city of Watertown. We have turned that into the field house, and it's just been wonderful. Yeah, it's been really, really good for the city.
Mr. Mayor, do you see this building or access to the building limiting access for the park and rec people at all, or providing any type of
To get
issues
into
with
the back there?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I think it's a pretty big lot back there when you take a look. There's a lot of size. I think that the access for the city and for the county would be just fine. Yeah. And if they were to do a lease, Charlie, I just want to say that it would be very minimal. If that's the direction you go, and if this council were to go along with that.
Okay.
Well, we'll have to take a look, I guess, at some of our county properties. And
Yeah, and I don't know where you have, I know that we run into little things like that every once in a while that says, oh, that's the counties, and it's kind of crazy. I listened to your earlier report with the DOT and the roads, and it's fun to hear those things, because we run into the same stuff, let's give you this piece of property or something, and
I know people don't
Put
realize
you some
that,
money into
that
it.
little strip of road under the interstate all of a sudden adds up to miles.
Yeah.
well, it does.
Yeah.
It does, and
So
and,
it adds up. I
and-
think a rough estimate, kind of getting off the subject here, but it would cost the county about $10,000 for maintenance of those areas that we're not covering now. So it's a
And
chunk
you
of money
wonder,
all the time.
you wonder as a county resident, I'm not speaking as mayor right now, but you wonder as county resident, are they trying to move some of these things to the county because of the deficiencies that the state has in their revenue? I don't know, but that's,
I think
you
you're
just
thinking
wonder.
down the same track as all of us, too.
Yeah,
So,
as
yeah.
a county resident, you think of those things, wonder why, what's
Yeah.
really behind.
Yeah. It's kind of like, I wonder if the city's trying to push some of this stuff on us, too,
Of
And
course.
it's the other way
Yeah.
around, too, I imagine, so.
But I think we can get something amiable done on this piece of property for you guys, so you can get your building built. And I know that Jim mentioned last night that he's got his sandbags.
Yeah.
Was it 100,000 sandbags in a building that leaks, and he's got them
Yeah.
covered with plastic? We need a better place for you also, as
Yeah.
a city.
And that benefits the city,
Absolutely.
Maybe more the city, because it's more likely going to go around the lake, is where they're going
What'll
to
happen is it benefits the city more than it does per se county, because it's the city
Maybe-
residents that are being affected by that.
Maybe we should
flooding.
put those in the city shed.
We probably have something out at the airport. Whenever there's a question about where can we put something, we call Todd and say, hey, got room in one of those buildings out there?
Okay, any more
Well, we
questions?
appreciate you working with us. So,
Yeah.
some folks are going to sit down, maybe we can take a look at what
Yeah.
properties might be.
I thought I'd go down and get something from
Okay.
Shauna. and
Yeah,
get
the sooner the
something
better,
started.
so that if we have to do
Right.
anything, any transferring or any kind of work that has to be done by our attorneys, I would suggest that we move along.
Yes, we definitely need to.
Yeah, we need to get
because
on it
We have our
because
bids, so.
we have the bids on the building, so we need to have some place to put it.
Exactly.
Well, we do have a place to put it. Actually, we do. We could put it out by the ice. That's all. We could do it. We can put it there. That's, but our first choice was this place that we're talking about
Right.
now. So.
And that's nice, because it would save you some dollars for fencing and the protection.
Yeah.
It's all
Yeah,
there already.
that's
And the driveway is all in, it's all gravel, so it would save you some dough.
Something too, Steve, I guess if we could find out by the zoning in the city, just what is that classification of that place,
I
that
believe,
area?
I believe that area right there that you're talking about, if I'm
On the
not
east
mistaken,
side.
is C1.
Okay.
You know, C1, which it moves up into the R, R1. So it's been there for a long time. I could be wrong on that. I can find out.
We'll
for
need to
sure.
find that out to see just what that
So
zone.
a steel building could be put in there.
Absolutely.
Well, that's, yeah, we want to make sure that that's
Yeah.
zoned that way.
And I know that Milo had talked about moving it away from the fence so many feet so
20
that
feet, I
they
believe
can
is-
get back in there. So there's quite a space in between
Mm-hmm.
also.
Okay,
Thank you, folks.
thank you, Mayor.
Yep.
All right.
Thank
Have a
you.
good day.
All right, you too.
All right, let's go back to the agenda, number 21, any old business?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Leo.
Just a couple things. First was, let's see, I wanted to pass out just to continue with the Justice Advisory Committee stuff. I think, do you all have this diagram? Did I pass that out to you? Because one thing we asked when we talked about the letter to the architect, yeah, you can pass those out. Thank you. We asked about a kind of cleaned up diagram. So this is it, and I added a couple things like the tax impact. Do you need one there, Charlie?
Is that this one?
Yeah, that one. And the current estimate, so you can see what the property acquisition, everything is on there. I'll give you guys a copy when I'm done. So, and if I go.
I've got an extra meeting schedule.
Yeah, and then the other thing, so you can take a look at that. There's, like I said, there's project costs. The table down here is the more up-to-date version. That'll fluctuate slightly as different things, different parts of the project. But the main thing is the bond amount that we set last week that'll stay. The up to bond amount will stay $18,875,000, and then also for our public presentations as we lead up to the vote on June 20th, passing out a list of these public presentations that Commissioner Hanton was so helpful with scheduling, and also speaking at a couple of organizations in the community. So if any communities would like somebody to come talk, or any organizations or coffee clutches or whatever would like somebody to come and talk about this and answer questions, please contact me, or you can contact the commissioner. You can contact us through the auditor. And then I had the privilege last week of going to, and I almost forgot to mention, tonight is the next CCJAC meeting at 6:10 at LATI room 430. And that's going to be a fairly quick meeting, but it's a committee meeting where we can, since we kind of have everything's almost ironed out, so bringing the committee up to speed on everything that's been going on, as we've had to do a lot between the committee meetings, and kind of answering back what their recommendations were. And then I had the privilege last week of going to Pennington County for a NACO event on more or less on jail alternatives or reducing jail population. And it was interesting to see. We had representatives from many counties, to include Franklin County, where Columbus, Ohio is, at the event. Some very large counties like Lake County, Illinois, Ramsey County, Minnesota, and a bunch of other counties from around the country. And what's going on is Pennington County got a grant from the MacArthur Foundation on reducing jail population. And so they were basically using some of this grant money through NACO to pay for the participation of other counties from around the country. So there were 2 South Dakota counties there, Cottington County, so I attended with Tom Walder, the Chief Corrections Officer, and then Minnehaha County also had representation there as well. But I'll write up some bullets, but essentially Pennington County is doing a lot of good things to try to reduce their jail population, or at least control the rate of increase in the jail population, to include some diversion things like a young adult diversion, and also how they handle their data and understand their data. And so they got some assistance with that, and they're willing to share. And there's a few other things I could go on, but I don't want to belabor it. But I'll try to write up some comments, and it's good. It would involve the courts and the state's attorney and the sheriff, of course, as you go through any of that. And all this stuff is very useful as we talk about constructing a new facility, because the facility we're talking about is only 120 beds. And so in order to manage that, we do need to be constantly pursuing alternatives, because we want to keep that planned increase what it is with the spike we have right now. We want to deal with that as in the years ahead. So So I appreciate Pennington County hosting it and NACO paying for that trip, so it was very useful.
So are they finding on those diversion programs that that is helping with
Yeah,
their
well, it seems to be,
population?
yeah. They have one, for example, was unique to Pennington County, was a young adult diversion program. So we have a juvenile diversion, a teen court, basically, which is very useful. And that's probably one of the reasons why our juvenile population in our jail is pretty small. They had a young adult diversion program that deals with about, I think it was 18 to 25-year-olds, and they had so they shared with us that plan. I'll be sharing that with the state's attorney. So it's that kind of thing. A lot of the issue, and this is an issue we see in the mental health world too, is there's a point where the law enforcement officer would rather not arrest somebody and take them to the jail. They would rather find another place to take them, either to detox or just to get some help. And so having those kinds of systems in place, and that's one thing that Sarah Peterson is working with us on the deflection program. So that's something. So Pennington County has a few more assets, so that we talked about that kind of thing as well. So there are lots of different vectors on reducing jail population, and so I'll try to summarize it out so everybody has maybe a one-page from it. So
That meeting is tonight at 6:10?
yeah, the CCJAC. Yeah, 6:10. CCJAC, and that, by the way, the public presentations on the list that I handed out are 6:45. So, and the next one, the first one actually is this week in South Shore on Thursday at 6:45, South Shore Community Center, and then we've handed a list out to. Did you get one, Don?
All right. Any other thing for the old Charlie?
Not sure where to put it in, or even if it's relevant, but back to item 9. Is that a time-sensitive thing that the speaker?
Tribal expense.
For that initiative?
No, Sarah indicated it could all wait till next week.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
I do have it on the agenda for next week along with her other stuff. Mr. Smith will not be appearing until the 16th, but everything else was able to be moved to the 9th.
Well, she got ill.
Yeah, so don't throw or don't file all of her information, and there's a whole...
Yeah, I won't send it out again.
There's a whole bunch of stuff in her packet in reference to that, so we'll use that for the discussion next week. Any other old business? Anything else? How about new business? Any new business? Anything else? I guess the new business, Brenda, would be the updates. We do have a sheet with the dates of all of the community meetings in reference to the bond election. And you want to go through those quickly?
Sure, I can do that. The first one is May 4th, this Thursday in South Shore at their community center. May 9th is tentatively with Kranzberg in their town hall. May 11th will be in Watertown at LATI. Is that time also 6:45?
Yeah. So that'll be in the fourth floor of the Student Center.
Right. And all these are at 6:45 p.m. in the evening. May 18th at the Henry Community Center. May 23rd, Florence Community Center. May 25th, Waverly Community Center. And then June 1st, the Wallace Community Center. And then there will be a forum put on by the Watertown Chamber on June 7th. The time will be announced.
All right. And you'll get a copy of this, Don, and the paper. Got it? Okay, good. All right. Anything else? Any other new business? Anything for the open?
Well, I think we've mentioned everything that we could have a quorum at tonight, the CCJAC and South Shore on Thursday night. I don't have anything else in my calendar that it could be a quorum unless someone else does.
I don't think so.
All right. Terry has asked for a short executive session in reference to a personnel issue, which would be item number 1, discussion of personal issues.
I'll make that motion that we go into executive session.
We have a motion by Hatton to go into exec session and a second by Van Dusen. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.